This morning I'm taking a walk around the Flatirons Trail in Oregon's Badlands wilderness area. We can talk about how there's no self inside. That is, on one hand, a recognition of a kind of freedom that is impossible to find otherwise. It also frequently sounds absolutely radical, outrageous, extraordinary, mystical, mythical. But for anyone who looks really carefully, what they'll find is that it also simply comes as a fact, not something outrageous, not something extraordinary or mythical. It just becomes like the sky is blue too. And there's no surprise in that. It might seem beautiful sometimes, but it's not shocking. Maybe if you saw it for the very first time, it would be, can be, certainly could be. But after a while, it just becomes a simple fact. And so does that freedom. It can also sound as though that experience of there not being an individuated sense of self could sound like nothingness or emptiness. But it's not that either. It just is a lack of being separate as an individuated small thing. So there is still that sense of being. It's just a much vaster sense of being. In fact, it's so much more full. It is not just an absence of self, but it's a fullness of all. And that's how it can come to be experienced as something that is so full. If it's all, it can't possibly be missing anything. And if it's not missing anything, it's incredibly whole. Completely whole. And if it's completely whole, it can't possibly be broken. There can't possibly be something amiss or needing to be fixed. And that might seem outrageous in the context of the ordinary three-dimensional world where there's so much that seems to be awry, but that's among the reasons that it's the kind of experience that points to being something that transcends the limitations of the regular three dimensions. But that's also why, when grounded in it, it's possible to meet what's in front of our face here in this place, in these three dimensions, from the place of peace that it engenders. Bring that peace to it here. Bring that peace here. Doesn't mean that everything here in this dimension is going to go perfectly and smoothly according to the whims of the human ego. But whatever does come, at least it becomes more possible to meet it from the place of peace that's rooted in something much bigger. And that's possible whether you're out in nature, among 1,000-year-old bristlecone juniper trees, where it's kind of naturally pretty peaceful. Or in the middle of a crowded city, being a grown-up, doing all the things you got to do. And I think for most of us, that's really where the rubber meets the road. If we can't bring that peace into the warp and weave of everyday life, into our daily moments, with all the other people and all the other things going on, then our spirituality isn't really doing much for us anyways. Because it is, after all, where we spend most of our time living life. The juniper trees are a nice place to visit. That's for sure. But that lack of separateness and the peace it engenders is available always, everywhere, eternally. Whether that's in the middle of the city, or school, or household, or absolutely anywhere. There just isn't anywhere we can go without access to truth. And amen to that. The juniper berries are kind of tasty too. Anyway, here's walking in spirit. Maybe I'll see you on the trail. Peace.